Welcome, beautiful, to the Creating Change podcast with Emma Bradford. Creating change to fall back in love with ourselves and life. Each episode, I'll be offering insightful stories, concepts, and practical takeaways to inspire your day, reconnecting to the authentic essence within. Are you ready, lovely, to embrace yourself even more and awaken to the magic life has to offer? Let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Creating Change with Emma Bradford. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, in today's episode, I wanted to share a vision, image that I had in my mind's eye, where it's more like a movie scene. It wasn't a still image that I had in my mind's eye when I was part of a meditation healing circle many years ago. And one afternoon, this image just popped into my mind and it's stuck with me ever since. It really created a very strong impact. And it was almost like my higher self, my soul, was giving me some guidance. It was giving me some guiding light during a very difficult time. The months after that, I went through some very difficult relationship challenges. And that image really helped me navigate all of that. Now, what I saw is a complete, still, serene goddess. This goddess that was in this white desert. It was almost like one of those salt lakes, dried up salt lakes that you can find in the world. Everything was white. White earth, white sand, white rocks. The sky was white. Everything was white. And she just stood there. She was wearing white robes and her hair was flying all around in all directions. It was so windy. There was so much chaos and movement around her, yet she was completely still. She was serene. And I remember that look of serenity so clearly. I can see it so clearly now. And that image stuck with me ever since. It's been an image more like a movie scene because I could see her hair flying around in all directions that has given me this reminder, this powerful reminder that we may have these chaotic times in our life, yet within, that still serene point within, deep within, the soul always remains. We may have these challenging emotions, anger, sadness, fear. We may have all of that. We may feel deeply. And yet within, we have the stillness of the soul. We may have these challenges. We may have really chaotic times in life. Yet there's still this stillness that we can access when we come back to the breath. We come back to the present moment and just take a pause, take a moment to breathe. That's the thing. We're on this planet of duality, that there are polarities. We have hot, cold, night, day, all of that. We have all of these different contrasts, so we can really learn, grow, and evolve thanks to those contrasts. So if we have chaos, there is deeper stillness also. If we have lots of emotions, we're feeling lots of emotions, there's also the opposite of that that's present too. There's that awareness that's witnessing the emotions. If there's lots of shadow, what we call shadow in the world, things that we don't like, things that we find challenging, or shadow aspects about ourselves, parts that we dislike, or even parts that we've yet to integrate, gifts that we don't acknowledge. If we have all of that, there's also light too. You cannot have one without the other. It's not about eradicating one and only having one. It's not about only love and light, eradicating everything else. It's about closing the gap between the two, creating wholeness, creating integration, recognizing that in every moment we can connect to stillness. even if that is simply just through the breath. We inhale and exhale, and notice the pause. Notice those little moments of space, stillness in between the breaths. Use that as an entry point. Use that as an entry point to really connect to the stillness. Remember the stillness. Notice how trees, they stand tall, they're rooted and grounded, yet the branches may be swaying in the wind. Finding a way to ground ourselves, connect to the earth, walk barefoot. This can be a wonderful way to help us navigate any chaos that's going on in our life. So that vision, that beautiful, serene goddess in absolute stillness, yet her hair flying about her face, her clothes flying about in the wind, absolute chaos around her. Yet she was connecting to that stillness. She was connecting to that serene part within. It's possible. And it's not to say that the chaos is bad or that we mustn't feel it or get caught up in it. It's just remembering there is that polarity. And just remembering that can help us navigate the chaos, can help us learn from it, that can help us grow from it. So as a practical tip, I'd like you to pay attention to your breath, your inhale and exhale. And as I mentioned, just notice those moments, those pauses in between the inhale and exhale. You can even take it a step further and count. Count whatever numbers feel good for you. So for example, counting 1, 2, 3, 4 as an inhale. Pause for 2 seconds. 1, 2, that's the stillness there. And then exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then pause again for 2 seconds. So you can adjust those numbers according to what feels good. Just take a moment to really notice those moments of stillness, those pauses. And in whatever feels chaotic at the moment in your life, notice that there's an opportunity to reconnect to the deeper calm in that too. This world is about polarities. You cannot have one thing without the other. So in the chaos, there's an opportunity to reconnect to the deeper calm. It's there. We just need to find it. Reconnect to it. Sending you all my love. Thank you so much for listening to this. If you found this useful, if you think a friend would find this useful, please do share with a loved one. Every single share makes such a difference and really helps to spread the message, spread the love a little bit further into the world. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, if you've been feeling the chaos, if you've been feeling all these emotions and you're wondering how to navigate emotions, if you want to do that in a fun and practical way through dance and through creative arts, we have Creating Change coming up. We start in March, and I'll link the details in the show notes so you can have a little look. If it feels like something you want to explore further, and there are many different options within that, if it feels expansive, if it resonates for you, then feel free to get in touch and reserve your place on the training. This is such a fun training. We've had many groups over the years, and it's one of my favorite things to do is teach this group to dance as a group, to paint and draw as a group, and to really dive into the topic of self-tenderness and really get to know ourselves even further in a very fun and creative way. That's the thing. Self-awareness doesn't have to be dull and boring and a challenge. It can be a lot of fun as well. So why not make it fun and dance and celebrate life as a group? So this is exactly what we do in Creating Change. And I've made it even easier this year. So there are many different options. There's the custom option and there's also the complete option. So everything is explained on the webpage. Essentially what that means is that you can pick and choose whether you come to all the online classes or only in-person classes, or you do both, or you just try one class. There are all these different options that are possible, and I just wanted to make it as easy as possible because every single person has unique lifestyle and commitments, and it's important that we really have the time and space to connect and dance and tap into creativity, like whether we do that on a training like this, whether we do that in one-on-one sessions, or whether we do that by ourselves or with our friends, to make time for ourselves, to really connect to ourselves. So here is a wonderful opportunity. In March, we start. It's so much fun. I would love to have you join us on the training. And I'll link the details, as I said, in the show notes, so you can have a little look about that if it resonates for you. If you have any questions, just schedule a call with me and I'll be happy to answer your questions. A wonderful way to step into this year, 2023, the year of spirituality, the year of connecting beyond the physical, tapping into that. And that's exactly what we'll be doing on Creating Change. So if it's something that feels good, that resonates, then feel free to join us. We'd love to have you join us. And until next time, wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, beautiful. You're amazing. All resources and links can be found on my website, www.emmabradford.net. Link is in the show description. Do come and join my community and share your takeaways from this episode. I'd really love to hear. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, I wonder, what magic will you experience in life today?